Are you working on a lot of things at the same time? Maybe you've got a full-time job and at the same time you would like to develop your side business. Or maybe you've already got your business so you have a lot of things to handle. Maybe you're searching and reading on information how to work harder, how to work smarter, how to get things done quicker. You've got overwhelmed and you're not prioritizing your happiness. Join me in this video where I will share my journey on the feel-good productivity, and I will share all the productivity tips that I have learned in this book, which has tripled my productivity. This video I would like to break down into 3 parts. So the first part is how I generally feel like about this book, and the second part is what tips I have implemented in my daily life that has tripled my productivity, and the third part is what are the productivity tips that I'm going to further implement into my life. And I hope maybe you could take some reference and also join me on this journey. I think the productivity tips in this book are fairly easily to implement, and some is just a question to ask yourself. For example, what are your side quests of today? How can you have more fun in the task that you are doing, which is so simple. And what I love about this book is Alice has put his life experience, has also do a lot of research. There are so many experiments in this book. I think there is total 18 times 3. 18 times 3, 6 times 3. Right now, come to the second part of this video. What are the 5 tips that I think it has helped me so much on my productivity? The first one is the productivity downtime. I've got my 9 to 5, I got my full-time work, but there must be some time that you don't have any task at all. During the time that I don't need to work on anything, I just work on my thing. For example, writing the video script, watching YouTube videos, planning on my program, or taking lessons. But I have taken this step further. So I have created a list on what I can do in this productive downtime, and the next column I have put what are the difficulties of doing these tasks. For example, if I would like to write a video script, it may take me quite a lot of focus. I would rate it as difficulties level 4 star, things like that. If I would like to get inspiration, I just have to watch YouTube videos, then maybe just a 1-star difficulty. So it depends on how much downtime I've got in my work. If I only got like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then I would just watch YouTube videos to get inspiration. So the second tips, I think it helps me a lot, is actually the first chapter. It is about having fun. Having fun in the work that you are doing. I usually focus on how much harder I can work every day. Can I work a little bit more? And I found that it is easier for me to get burned out if I think in this way. But right now, if I think how can I have much more fun to work on the things that I'm working on right now, it boosts my creativity and also it makes me able to work on the task longer. I think this is so true. If you enjoy your work, like a lot of people said, if you're in the flow state, you will just keep working and you don't think that the time is passing by. What is the fun element that you can have in the task that you're working on, in the project that you're working on? One of the examples that I really like in this book is a person named Matthew Dix, who is a world champion storyteller. So he used to work in McDonald's before when he was young. So if you have worked in any restaurant, you will understand everyday task is just similar. There's no excitement, no sparks, and nothing new. He has decided to add more fun into his work. He added fun through the upselling process. He will decide today is the BBQ sauce day. He would like to upsell the BBQ sauce. When there's customer, he will ask if you would like any sauce today, and if the customer say no, he didn't want any sauce today, then he will upsell the BBQ sauce. He would say, I would really recommend the BBQ sauce. There's nothing can beat them. And the customer will say, okay, then I will get it. This made me think of the time that when I was working in a restaurant. So one day my role is the promoter. I've got to distribute the leaflets and invite customer to come into restaurant. My friend who was also working in that restaurant and told me, don't promote too much, don't promote too hard, because if I promote really well, then there will be a lot more customers. And then for some reason, I think it was quite fun to see him work harder. It's actually sparked my creativity juice. I have thought of a lot of ideas to promote this restaurant. At the end, there are a lot of customers having dinner at that restaurant. I just enjoyed the process. I think it was really fun. So it is very important for you to add fun into the most mundane task because it lets you to enjoy it. And other tips in this play session is create an enjoyable environment. Right now, before I've got my deep work session, I will prepare for my drinks. It can be tea, it can be matcha latte, it can be a coffee, and I will also light up a candle, play some music before I do the work. I would also clean up my desk. So you have to create an environment that lets you to enjoy and have more fun when you are doing your work. Third thing is, this is my favorite method. I've actually learned this method before reading this book. I learned it from Ali's channel. It is called the time blocking method. It really saved my life. I've got so much work done after I have used this time blocking method. This is how it works. You've got your annual goals, right? If you didn't got an annual goals, then set up an annual goals, and then you break down into a monthly goals. So after you break down into a monthly goals, every week you've got to think about what you have to do in order to reach your monthly goals. I will usually plan my week in 1 week advance. So I usually plan my week on Sunday. I would think about what is the goals that I would like to achieve next week, and then I would think about what actions do I have to take in order to achieve that goal. After thinking about all of these actions, I will distribute it throughout my whole week. When you know that each day what is your to-do list, then you just chunk in the task at different time. I will give you my example of my schedule. So you can see this is my calendar. I block all of my time slot every day, every week, because I would like to make sure I will finish the work that I've got to do in order for me to achieve my weekly goals. If you don't put in your calendar, you actually won't work on it. How many of you have ever tried that? You've got things you need to do in your mind, you just didn't do it at all. Not only just time blocking my calendar in the Google Calendar, I would also have a phone widget that I put my Google Calendar at the top of my screen. So when I turn on my phone, I can see what tasks I got to do today. Fourth one is adding frictions to the things that you don't want to do, or reduce frictions to the things that you would like to do. So for example, because I would like to practice my speaking, I've got this stand, put it on my table, which reminds me to practice speaking every day. This is how I reduce friction for me to practice speaking. Or a very simple example, if you easily get distracted by your phone, you can just put your phone in the bedroom when you're working in your living room. This is also a way that you add friction. When I was in Hong Kong, I've just got a very small room. Besides, this is my bed. This is my working desk. I've asked the interior designer to design the bed that is a little bit higher, because I understand that if the bed is at a lower height, I will just lay on my bed very easily. So I asked the interior designer to design my bed a little bit higher. I've got to climb up on the bed if I have to lay down in the bed. This is how I add frictions, prevent me from being lazy when I was working, when I was doing my work, when I was studying. Already thinking about how I'm going to design my new apartment that I'm going to move in. I've already thought about I will buy one more table. So one table is for my full-time work. When I've got no task at all, I can just slide to the next table and work on my own things. The number 5 is adding certainty. One of the big reasons people are not starting to work on the things that they've got to work on, it is not because they are lazy. It is because they don't know what to do. I was actually at that place before. I would like to start a spiritual business, but I didn't do it. I've got a lot of ideas in my mind, but I didn't do a single thing because I wasn't familiar about business. I wasn't familiar about how can I start my own business? So I did nothing. It isn't about I'm lazy, because I know I'm not lazy. I'm quite a hardworking person. So having uncertainty about the works that you've got to do is actually a big obstacle. So how can you have more certainty? You can ask about the purpose. What are your purpose for the task? What are the purpose for you to carry on this project? What are the purpose for you to do this thing? And then you've got to ask yourself, what are the outcomes you would like to have? And what are the steps you have to take? For example, because I didn't know how to start a business, so I take lessons. I ask questions. This is the only step I know that I've got to take right now for me to take further steps. If you ask a lot of successful people, they become successful wasn't about they already know what they are going to do in the past. Most of them don't know what they are doing at first, but when they keep doing it, then they just have to work one step at a time, they will slowly figure out what they actually got to do. So you don't have to exactly know what is the path in front of you. You've got to know what is the specific next step you have to take in order for you to move forward. Comment down below, is there any tips that you're using, or is there any tips you would like to implement into your life? So come to the third session. This is the session I would like to talk about what are the further productivity tips I would try to implement into my life to see if I can further improve my productivity. So I would also like to see if you would like to join me as well to double up your productivity. The first one is a calm hobby. C means competence, A means autonomy, L means liberty, and M means mellow. Usually when I learn about something, I take so serious about everything. I used to dance a lot before. I love dancing. I first started off as a hobby, but then I really like dancing and I take it so serious. I start to practice like 4 to 5 days or sometimes even 7 days a week, and I will go back home at around 2 to 3 a.m. or sometimes even over the whole night. So right now I would like to go back to dancing. I would probably treat it as a hobby instead of something very serious. This is one of the things that I would like to implement and boost my productivity, because you've got to have a proper recharge and reset if you would like to go further. I don't know if any one of you have noticed that when you are tired and you keep working on the things, you're not productive at all, you're not efficient at all. So you've got to find some ways, for example, a calm hobby for you to recharge yourself, and then after you recharge, then you are full power again. The second thing I would like to implement is the Batman effect. It means like you've created an alter ego. Create a character in your mind that doesn't have the current concern that you got. For example, I am afraid of public speaking, so I've got to create an alter ego that is not afraid of public speaking, that's very good in expressing herself. I think one of the things can help in this tip is also you create a physical trigger. For example, if you wear glasses, which means that is a physical trigger for you to step into that identity, for you to step into your alter ego. In manifestation, I have learned about to change your identity so that you will have a new set of mindset, a new set of actions to manifest your desires. So in manifestation, there is your current self and this is your new self. The Batman effect is like in the middle. So sometimes you will become your alter ego, become your ideal self temporarily. If you get used to that feelings, maybe you can be permanent in that state. I think most girls, when they put on makeup, they will feel more confident about themselves. I think this is also one of the great way that you can try to step into your alter ego. The third experiment that I would like to try is the crystal ball method. Actually, not quite remember about the steps, so let me just read that out. So you can ask yourself these 3 questions. Imagine it's 1 week later and you've not started the task you intended to. What are the top 3 reasons why you didn't get to it? What can you do to help mitigate the risk of those top 3 reasons derailing you? The third is, who can you ask for help in sticking to this commitment? The number 4 is, what actions can you take right now that will increase the odds for you to actually doing it? By asking these 4 questions, it will help you to work on the things that you would like to do and also reduce the chance of things getting wrong. So these are the 3 tips that I would like to try soon. Because there are so many experiments that have mentioned in this book, I do recommend just try 1 at a time, or maybe try 2 to 3 at a time. Because if they work for you, there's already have a big difference. I think this should be a pretty long video, and I hope you're still watching that. I hope you're still here. As always, take care. See you in the next video. Bye.